All right, so okay, all right, okay. I have to shit, right? And I did, but then I had to cut it off. I had to pick baby girl up, right? Take her to work, and then come back over here. But then by the time I came back to my house, it was like kind of the urge of me pooping was kind of going away. It was like it's not gone all the way. It was like something is still there, but it's like it's not an emergency. Like ain't nothing coming out my ass. Pause. So it's like I don't know. I think if I sit on the toilet, something's gonna happen. But right now, I'm a little uncomfortable. But I love you guys. So let's do it. Except though, I'm recording. Cool. I wonder if this is what hemorrhoids feel like. Anybody that ever had hemorrhoids, let me know. Sup though. Is JCPenney still in business? How the hell? I don't ever shop at JCPenney or Macy's.
A few months ago,
I'm not proud of it, but I do shop at Walmart. But I'm in and out.
Working at my cashier job in the self-checkout when I encountered a very strange customer. It started when a somewhat disheveled man who looked to be in his 60s
Because you have me at disheveled. But 60? If he's 60 and up!
me over to his register for help. He began asking me for help ringing up his items, claiming he couldn't find the barcodes.
My ass.
I found this a little bit odd, but initially I tried not to judge him. I thought that maybe he just had impaired vision or some other disability.
Nope. I'm good. You see how big this barcode is? It's big as shit. If you're looking at it, why is it dripping? Pause. It's tight. What? Okay. Just bring that shit closer to you, or if it's too heavy, you move closer to the shit. Look how big this barcode is. I'm uncomfortable. Okay. Look at that. Look at the barcode. If you can't see the barcode, you got no business shopping by yourself. Cluck ass.
He only had 2 items, a drink and a candy bar.
How big is the damn drink that you can't lift it? Really? My ass, and you got a candy bar.
Helped him scan both items, but it soon became readily apparent that he had only asked me for help as an excuse to have my attention. He kept chuckling, and it wasn't an innocent or friendly chuckle, but one that sounded unhinged. I realized that he was very likely under the influence of something. I started mentally plotting my end to my interaction as quickly as possible. He also kept asking for my number, which I just awkwardly laughed off every time. I had to walk him through the payment process too, since he of course also pretended not to know how to use the card reader in order to—
Wow, god damn. Hey, whole time, I would have came over to him nice and polite. Hey, how you doing? Oh, sure. I can help you with that. Right? Let me ring that up. Ring that up. Ring that up. You need help with the card reader? Okay, that help. I got you. Sunshine and lollipops over here at Walmart. You want my number? Hey, there you go. What? My phone made a weird noise. I don't know if y'all heard that. It was like a doop doop. Hey, Edgar. I try to come over to you politely. Right? I helped you with your shit. Right? I rung it up. I helped you with the card reader. But you coming at me south. God, I'm kind of uncomfortable right now. Hold on. But you coming at me sideways right now, player. You're coming at me sideways, and I do not appreciate that. You're 60 disheveled looking ass. All right. Ask me for my number one more time, and I'm gonna cluck all your shit up. And we at Walmart. Don't nobody care about you. That's all I gotta say about that. Ask me one more time, and that's your ass. And I'm gonna follow you outside the parking lot, clock out for 15 minutes, and beat your ass for 15 minutes. Because for 15 minutes, I'm just a regular person. I don't work at Walmart. And when I'm done beating your ass, I'm going to go in, right, get myself together, clock back in, and help the next person. I'm on one today. I'm on 10 right now. Anybody else want some clock shits? Oh.
Prolonged the interaction. When all of that was finally over and he paid and walked off, I assumed that he left. No such luck. About 2 hours later, it was time for my lunch break. As I was heading towards the break room, I saw the man again. He motioned for me to go over to him. I told him as politely as I could, "Sir, I'm not on the clock right now. I'm headed to my lunch break. You have a nice night." I quickened my pace on my walk to the break room, looking over my shoulder the whole way until I passed through the doors to the employees-only area. My lunch break went normal, and for a while, my time back at work after that did too. That is, until around 2.5 more hours later. I suddenly heard one of our store security guards yelling. He said, "Sir, I'm going to call the police if you don't leave. You're harassing my customers. You're harassing my employees. You cannot be here." When I looked in the direction of the yelling, lo and behold, the same guy yet again was the one being yelled at. I saw him run towards the back of the store and security chase after him. I wasn't able to leave my area, and I had to concentrate on my job, so I just presumed shortly after that they caught him and escorted him out. One of my other coworkers who witnessed this told me that they'd been trying to kick that guy out for hours, and that earlier he had been hitting on another...
Ain't no way y'all been trying to kick somebody at your store for hours. I cannot Benny be in your situation. Nah, if I'm kicking somebody out, it's right then and there. Ain't no hours. That's crazy. Hours? That's crazy.
Female coworker of mine, who I will refer to as Lacey. She didn't elaborate on what happened with Lacey, so I just figured that the guy had pulled the same thing on Lacey as he did on me. All of this had been weird and uncomfortable already. A few days later, however, I found out more details about the situation that almost made my blood run cold. While on lunch break, I was making conversation with a work friend of mine who I will call Vera. I asked Vera, "Did you hear about the creepy guy who was here on Saturday night?" She told me that she had not only heard about it, but witnessed much of his deranged behavior. She told me that when the man tried to flirt with Lacey, Lacey firmly told him that she was a minor. His reply, "That's okay. I like 13-year-olds."
You know, that just pissed me off. I don't cluck with shit like that. Because I have a 12-year-old sister, right? My baby girl, she got sisters that's, I think, 17, 15, and 13. You know, and they're like basically my sisters. And I would cluck up anybody if anybody did something to them. On me, on everything. Also, I have a cluck ass story that I experienced firsthand with my own eyes that dealt with a minor, and homeboy was up there in age. And that happened at my first location at Chipotle. So on my main channel, I'm uploading again and I'm reading people's horror stories along with uploading my own personal horror stories and cluck stories. So if y'all want to see that and stay up to date on that, I'm gonna link that in the comment section. But I mean, in the description box. Excuse me, below. But yeah, I'm not really. Yeah, nah.
Girls. This made Lacey feel so unsafe and anxious that she ended up going home early because...
And you're 60. You're 60. It's not like, you like 17 about to turn 8. First of all, how old did she say she was? I think she said 13.
13-year-old girls.
Wait a minute. What is a 13-year-old working at Walmart? This whole shit is crazy.
This made Lacey feel so unsafe and anxious that she ended up going home early because of it. I told Vera that the man had tried to flirt with me too, and Vera pointed out to me that the creep had probably gone for me based on the fact that I looked very young for my age. I realized Vera was probably completely right about this.
You're 60. Anybody that's younger than you should look young or youngish. You can't get nobody 59? That's crazy.
I'm currently in my late 20s, but I can pass for a teen and often get mistaken for one.
That's crazy.
Vera then told me that the man didn't end up leaving the store until midnight when it closed. And even then, he stood outside in the parking lot for hours after that. I thought back to what time it had been when I first encountered the man on Saturday, and I calculated that he must have been in the store for over 8 hours at...
If you're not working there, what is there to do? If you're not an employee at Walmart, what the hell is there to do for 8 hours? What are you doing for 8 hours? Yo, my shit is like, it's like stuck in one. I don't even like being at Walmart for 30 minutes, let alone 8 hours. That's crazy.
Least, seemingly doing little more than creepily flirting with all the young women he came across. To top off all of this, I usually walk home, but that night, one of my coworkers happened to give me a ride. If she hadn't done this, I almost definitely would have encountered the man in the parking lot, and who knows how that would have gone.
Jesus Christ.
I used to work at a JCPenney department store. For those who don't know, it's mostly a clothing store, but also has things like home decor. I worked there for...
I gotta check on my chicken wings. Hold on. Get up.
And a half, and this was back in 2018 and 2019. One night, I was working until 9 p.m. Things were busy for a while, but then got very quiet. I didn't have as much to do during the last several hours of my shift. Things were pretty quiet around the store, and there were very few customers shopping. I was just sitting behind the service desk and didn't really have much to do. I saw this one guy shopping, who seemed to have been there for a while, because I remember I had noticed him earlier. He was kind of tall and thin, and was wearing a hat. He never got all that close to me, but I saw him walk down an aisle a ways away. Then, like an hour later, I saw him again. He didn't have anything in his hands or a cart. He also didn't seem to be with anybody. I wondered why he was here for so long, but it didn't seem like all that big of a deal to me. As the final hour that we were open went by and 9 o'clock approached, I saw him a couple of more times. He seemed to almost just be wandering around the store. The guy wasn't really looking at anything. As we got to closing time, the announcements were made over the store that we would be closing soon, and customers should finish up their shopping and make final purchases. When it was less than 5 minutes to close, I saw the man again. He still didn't have any items that he was going to buy or anything. Then, he kind of went out of my sight. When it was 9 o'clock, I could just go over, punch out, and leave. I did not have to do anything afterwards, like cleaning or organizing. A few other people would stay after for a bit doing that. I headed out the doors just after 9 p.m. The JCPenney's was located in a large shopping area. There were a couple of stores directly to the right and left of us, and there was a very large parking lot for all of them. By now, the parking lot, especially in front of our store, was almost completely empty. My car sat a long ways back, and I walked out to it by myself.
Nope, I'm not doing that. I don't give a damn what you say. I used to work at Publix, which is a grocery store in Georgia. And they told us to park in the back of the parking lot, or like towards the back of the parking lot. So customers can park closer to. I didn't do that. For obvious reasons. I'm not with that cluck shit. So if something pop off, I don't want to haul ass all the way to the back of the parking lot, I would rather park in the front like I usually did. So that way, I'm the first one gone.
It didn't take long though, and I soon noticed the man that I had seen inside. There was a little curb with several feet of grass, which ran along the end of our parking lot, separating ours from the next business over. The man was walking in the grass along the curb. I wasn't really sure why, but I didn't really care either. I was just trying to get to my car. I will admit though, I found it to be a little bit odd, especially after seeing him so much in the store. He was probably about 100 feet away though. When I was still walking to my car, I heard the man suddenly start to yell something. I looked over at him and he was waving at me. I waved to be friendly and was wondering what was going on. The man then waved at me again and called me over to him. I said that I really had to get home and then kept walking to my car. I looked away and kind of had a bad feeling, but tried to just ignore it and get to my vehicle. I heard footsteps a ways back and could tell that the guy was coming over. When I turned to look, I saw that the man was now jogging over to me. He wasn't aggressively running or anything. I didn't feel endangered by it, but I was certainly suspicious and I wanted him to stop. When he was jogging over, I got to my car and went inside. When I did, I looked up to see the man was now about 10 feet away.
You wanted him to stop, but you didn't say anything? Clutch! I would have said, I'm walking. I hear somebody.
For me. I locked my doors just to be safe. As he approached my driver's door, he was smiling and seemed sort of friendly, but he still had some bizarre behavior that made me suspicious of him. I rolled down my window slightly and the guy said hi to me. He then asked me where I was going in such a hurry. I said I was just going home. Then he made some comment about when he was jogging over, I looked nervous. I said that I was just tired from a long day.
You damn right I look nervous. I don't know you. I've seen you on and off all day, right? You didn't buy shit, right? If you did, I didn't see the shits, right? It's dark as hell, right? And you basically hauling ass to me talking about you look nervous, obviously.
The guy then asked me if I wouldn't mind giving him a ride home.
Oh my God.
Obviously, I wasn't going to. I said no thanks, and then told him that there was a bus stop not far away from here. The guy then asked me if I could just give him a ride to a nearby convenience store.
Nah, there's a bus stop right there. If you don't got no change, if you don't got no monies, I got you, $20.
Once again, I said no. Finally, he said okay, and started to walk away from my vehicle. After that, I drove home. In all of my time working at JCPenney after that, I never saw the guy again. I still wonder, though, why that guy was acting so strange. I'm really glad that I got inside my car when I did, and that I didn't let that man inside my car.
I'm glad you didn't either. That would have been really stupid.
I work at a clothing store, and I've worked there for about a year now. I live by myself in an apartment, and I'm a graduate student in college. This story occurred just a few months ago. So one night, I was by myself at home doing some studying. I was in the bedroom of my small apartment. The apartment's cheap and has a bedroom, living room, kitchen, and bathroom. It opens right up to the outside, and there are no hallways, so I was always slightly concerned for security reasons after moving in. But to that point, everything had gone fine. So as I was in my bedroom studying, I heard a knock at my front door. I had been really focused, so it took me by surprise. I looked at my phone to see the time. It was almost 11 o'clock. I wondered who it could be. I got up and walked over towards my doorway, but before opening the door, I checked out the kitchen window. I saw a man standing there, but couldn't see his face from the angle that I was at. I didn't know who would come knocking at my door, though, at this hour. Then I went over to the peephole and looked. I saw the man's face now and did not recognize him at all.
I would have went based off skin tone. You know? I would have been based off your hair. I don't need to see your face. I'm looking out. Nope, I don't know no white people. Nope, I don't know nobody that got no nappy ass hair. Nope, I don't know nobody that got lice. Nope, I don't know nobody that has patches of bald spots in their head. Nope, I damn sure don't know nobody that got Reebok on.
I wondered who he was and why he was at my place. He knocked again, and I ignored it. I waited there, hoping that he would leave, but he remained there for several minutes. At last, about 5 minutes later, he left. He walked away, back into the parking lot, and then went out of my sight. It was really strange to have somebody knocking on my door so late at night, and nobody else had knocked on my door that I didn't know before. I figured that it was probably somebody who had the wrong address or apartment.
All right.
After that, I finished my studying and then went to bed. The next day, I had work in the afternoon into the night. That day, I was in the store and organizing different sections. I moved around a lot and did pretty much whatever was asked of me. The store was not all that busy, and I remember at one point seeing a man and recognizing him from something. It only took a few seconds, and I quickly realized that he was the same man that had been at my apartment the night before.
That's crazy.
When I realized this, my heart started racing. Why was he here? This couldn't be just a coincidence, could it? As I folded some clothes, the man was about 20 feet away from me, seemingly looking at a jacket. He kind of looked over and then looked away when he saw that I was looking in his direction. It was very suspicious. I just kept working and didn't really know what to make of this. The man soon walked away. After that, I did not see him for the rest of my shift. I worked for several more hours and then got off at I think like 7 or 8 p.m. I don't remember exactly what time it was. When I was done though, I drove home and got back to my apartment about 10 minutes later. I entered the parking lot, which was not all that big. I parked in a space that I usually did, and we didn't have assigned parking spaces, and you didn't need passes either. You could just park wherever you wanted. I was about to get out of my car when I saw a car parked a little ways down, and a man was in the driver's seat. It appeared to be the same guy that I kept seeing. I really didn't think that he lived here. I also didn't know why he would just be sitting in his car. I decided to hold off on going inside. Instead, I wanted to see what he would do. For the next 10 minutes, I just sat in my car, going on my phone, and looking up occasionally. Each time that I did, the man was still inside of his car. I found this to be too suspicious, and I texted a friend and asked if I could come over. Luckily, my friend said yes, and was not that far away either. I left the parking lot and started to drive away. That's when I saw the man start leaving. This is where I got a little bit lucky. I had to cross somewhat of a busy road, and did so just in time before several cars came. By the time the guy got to the end of the parking lot to cross, he was unable to go across the street like I just had. I got away and went to my friend's. I stayed there until late that night. When I got back to my apartment at about midnight, luckily I didn't see the guy. I didn't see his car in the parking lot either. For the next few days, I didn't see him at all, until one night when I was working again. It was kind of the same situation as before. I was sort of in the back corner of the store organizing some things. I noticed a man walking into the area. He seemed to be pretending to look at some products. This made me angry, and I confronted him. I walked right up to him and said, "You need to leave me alone. If I see you one more time, I will call the police, and I'm dead serious."
If I see you one more time, I'm grabbing your dick and balls, and I'm squeezing all life out of them.
Dumb, going, "Whoa, whoa, what are you talking about?" I didn't bother to explain. I didn't have to. I just walked away and went back to work. The guy mumbled under his breath, but I didn't hear what he said. After that, though, he seemed to leave the store because I didn't see him for the rest of my shift. After that night, I never saw him again either. I'm not sure if my threatening to call the police on him scared him, or if he just thought that I hadn't known that he was following me, and the fact that I now knew that he was might have caused him to stop. Either way, I'm glad that he did, and I hope that I never see him again.
Right. Right. I feel like that's what you should have said. You know, homeboy was following you for seemed like days, which is absolutely crazy because you could have done something the first day or the first time you experienced him. Like when he was at your door, you should have called the police. Let the police handle that. And then also, you probably should have stayed at your friend's house that night, like the whole night, just in case. But that Walmart shit, that messing with minors, even if you 17, about to be 18, no. Even if you 18, that's not. And you 60, bro. You're 60. Clunk out of here, yo. And it's like, I don't think that happens. That urge that you want to mess with a minor. I don't think that feeling just all of a sudden happens. You know, he could have been a pedophile or had pedophile instincts his whole life. You know, he could have been messing with youngins most, if not all, of his life. Ain't no way you just start doing that shit at 60. That's crazy. But I'm gonna need y'all to know these clutch signs, these red flags, to notice them and to do something about them. Don't just notice them and let them go over your head, or don't notice them and you not doing nothing about it. Because if we don't, then I bet you a cluck ass, and we don't want that. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy. Oof, my family.